Have you ever been watching your favorite streamer or pro player and you just stopped and thought that you wanted to be able to pop off and hard carry just like they can? So the thing about pros and streamers is there's tons of things to learn from, but there's also some things that you should never learn from because it actually could hurt you and prevent you from ranking up altogether. All that being said, I got 4 do's and 4 don'ts involving pros and streamers that will definitely give you everything you need to know to start ranking up instantly. All that being said, let's just jump right into it, shall we? So you're sitting in your comfy chair, relaxing with your jammies on, and you're watching your favorite pro or Twitch streamer. All of a sudden, their tanks lock ball hog, and now they have to play a game without any shields. And this leads us to the first do in this video is you do need to pay attention to how streamers deal with this sort of adversity. When they're dealing with low heals, low resources, what do they specifically do? Let's go back to that ball hog example when they're playing McCree. Oftentimes, they'll be playing around natural cover way more. They can't face tank damage. They have no shield, no Rhine, no cover. They need to peek out from natural cover, do damage, and go right back to natural cover. Another thing they might do is rely on flanks more. They're not going to play on the front line because they have no front line to play around. They want to get in really quickly, put in value, and try to get picks with their ball and their hog. Now let's transition that to another form of adversity. Let's say there's still that McCree playing streamer or pro player, but they have very little heals. Maybe something like Lucio that's DPSing and a Zen that's DPSing as well. What did they do to adapt to that situation? Maybe they position extremely safely on the high ground or outside of enemy line of sight and only peek when they want to do damage. Maybe they position themselves closer to health packs because they don't want to rely on their healers as much. These are the type of things that you really need to start understanding about pro streamers. Every single one of you in my comment section complains about, oh, my tanks just lock this. Oh, I don't get good heals from this. But these examples will happen to streamers and pro players as well. And you need to see what they do to get the most out of value. What are they doing to specifically play around all the things they're lacking in their game? And then you could take that mold and apply it to yours. This is an extremely effective strategy. And this is one of the ways that you can learn the most out of what a pro is doing that you are not, and how they're getting value in these games and winning anyways, even if they have ball hog or low heals or anything like that. And if you want to be able to do this in your games, you definitely need to go check out GameLeap.com. We break down pro and grandmaster gameplay so you can see from their point of view how they deal with these scenarios, what they do to combat them and win anyways, even when the games are hard, even when they have that interlocking hog and ball. If you want to be able to do this yourself, go check us out. You won't regret it. Now moving on to the first don't on our list. This is something that you need to specifically never do when you're watching a streamer is you need to not play like they play at their rank. This is really important because as a streamer, if they were playing in your rank, they'd be playing way more aggressive and way differently depending on what they expect. At their ranks, they expect a certain amount of heals from their allies. They expect a certain amount of space from them tanks. They know that a Doomfist isn't just going to be able to int in their backline without getting punished. There's certain things that they expect and there's certain things that they don't, and that's the axis they work from. If you just try to watch a pro player and you try to take everything that they're doing in their games and apply it to yours, oftentimes you won't be aggressive enough to get enough value. You won't be able to make enough high impact plays to carry your team from feeding. I mean, I know that all of y'all have been playing in your games. You know what it's like when no one does anything. No one pushes in, no one gets any value. You push in, you get some picks, it's not enough. You're really passive, you're really safe, just like a pro player or a streamer is, where they don't get punished, and it's not enough. The thing about low rank is if that same pro or streamer was playing in that rank, they would just be killing people over and over again. They'd be popping off, they'd be being extremely aggressive because they know exactly what they can do without getting punished. And that's a really important point that I'll get to later. But if you really see pro players smurfing, I know that some pro players smurf. I don't endorse streamers smurfing, and I think they do it far too much, but it is something that you can learn from because you really notice how their playstyle is so different between their rank and the lower ranks. And if you just try to copy their high-ranking playstyle with all their expectations, their aggression, their passivity, and you try to take all that to your low ranks, oftentimes you won't be aggressive enough to give value. Oftentimes you will not have the impact that you need in order to carry games, and it's really not something that you should do. This is the first don't. Not every single thing you should watch a streamer and take from it. You really need to take the specific pieces that are valuable to you, and I'm going to get into what those are right now. So the next thing that you need to do when you watch Twitch streamers is you need to watch streamers that play characters that you also play. This is a really profound concept, I know, but you really need to watch them. If you're an Ana player, watch someone like Sleepy, watch someone like ML7, watch someone that you respect their skill and their knowledge on Ana. If you're a Genji player, watch someone that has good fundamental Genji decision making. And here's the reason reason why you want to do these things. You can take note of what is expected of them at the higher ranks. You don't have to copy each and every mechanical move, but notice where they're positioning themselves. How are they positioning in a way that makes it really hard for them to get punished? Maybe the Ana's playing really far back when she knows they have a Doomfist. Maybe your Genji is heavily hunting an enemy support. Understanding what they're trying to do in each and every game, you can really see what they're doing in their games to carry, and then you can understand what the expectation for you will be eventually and what you need to work towards. On top of this, you can really analyze and say what separates this player that you're watching from just an average Grandmaster player, because everyone at that rank is good. But what does MO7 do? What mechanics does he implement? What positioning does he implement that actually make him have more impact than the average person? Maybe he's able to hit that Genji sleep dart every single time. Maybe he's able to consistently hit these insane nades from up above that get a whole bunch of value. Understanding what they do to specifically get more value than the people around the rank could be something that you could really learn from. And if you're just watching some random streamer instead of watching the character that you play, you're not going to learn as much. And that's something that you can really take in your games. It's really something that you should start doing. And if you need any suggestions, smash that like button and let me know in the comments down below, and I'll definitely respond to you with some of the best streamers for each and every character if there's a character that you specifically want to learn more about or focus more on. Now moving on to the next don't on our list, this is when you fail to understand when a pro player makes a big brain play that is built on game sense and positioning, and you just chalk it up to good mechanics. You say, oh, he has nuts mechanics, that's why he managed to shut that person down. But every single GM player has good mechanics. That's the first thing that you need to understand. What sets many pros and streamers apart is how they set themselves up to be favorable even with good mechanics. How they take the duels. They're taking the duels when they have tons of advantage. They're positioning in a way where the Genji has to dash all the way out to them, dash at them again after he blades, and he has to use his reflect early. All these little things add up that make it that much easier to hit the sleep dart, that make it that much easier to take the duel. Just because they have good mechanics is not the only reason why they're popping off consistently. The mechanical aspects are something you could look at and marvel at and say, that's what I'm going to become one day. But mechanics isn't something that you can instantly flip the switch and all of a sudden have mechanics. It's something you need to grind. But game sense, decision making, those are things that you can analyze each and every one and say, I can make this decision in my games. I can position it this way in my games. I can understand that interaction in my games. That's something that you need to understand. Don't just chalk everything up to good mechanics. Now moving on to the next do on our list, this is watch streamers of different ranks. You don't always need to watch just the best streamer. Sometimes you can watch streamers of any rank. You can go in and watch a master streamer. You can go in and watch a diamond streamer. If you're in bronze, you can watch a silver streamer or whatever. Watch streamers of different ranks and notice what you need to have. Here's an important thing to understand. At lower ranks, if you see a good player smurf, they can forgo almost all aspects of good positioning, good game sense, because their mechanical skill is so high that they just don't have to care. I mean, if they could just walk around and one-clip people with Tracer, it doesn't even matter how they position at all. And that's something that's important, is until you have a certain mechanical level, you're not gonna be able to punish people at all. And that's something that is what I would call a barrier to entry. Now, I talked about how mechanics isn't all that important at the higher ranks because everyone has good mechanics. But if you're at a lower rank and you're unable to punish people that are in worse positions than you, they're not in high ground, they're not doing anything smart, they're not taking duels smartly, you know, they're peeking you at half HP and they're still winning the duel, all these factors, you need to up your mechanical skill. You need to understand that that's what's holding you back. Now, there could be a whole bunch of other reasons for your dying. It's not because you're not hitting shots. It's not because of this. It's because you're in a bad position. But I'm saying if someone doesn't respect your ability to punish them at all, that's probably a mechanics problem. And you can really see this when you see streamers play and they smurf a lot, and you can see how they're just running around the map. It's basically like a deathmatch. Like, they literally don't care about their positioning and they're still getting value. That's not something that you should replicate, but you should understand and look at yourself and say, my mechanical skill is not good enough to actually punish these people. And that's something that you just need to understand is part of the problem and part of the reason why these smurfs can run so rampant on you in the first place. Now, moving on to the next don't on our list, this is don't assume that a pro or a streamer plays perfectly every time. And if they play poorly and they mess up, analyzing that mistake can sometimes be the best thing that you can learn from. Sometimes pros and streamers get outplayed. Whether it was an error by them or maybe the enemy making an insanely good play, you do need to specifically notice what was the situation where they lost or made that error. Maybe they were over aggressive and they didn't track the enemy Ryan's ults. Maybe we need to take extra note of, oh, that Ryan got a couple more fire strikes. That's something that I need to notice in my game. And because they didn't track the Ryan's ults, their whole team got shattered. Maybe they wasted beating a one fight and you can notice, oh, they beat it aggressively, but they already got this pick, they already got this pick in games like mine, and maybe I shouldn't do this. Understanding that not every pro and streamer is perfect, and you shouldn't just be trying to copy each and everything they do. Sometimes they make mistakes, and you need to be able to identify those and learn from them. Now, moving on to the last do on our list, this is listen to what they say on stream about interactions and what they swap to counter the enemy. pros will almost never let themselves get farmed. And I mean never. They'll make a playstyle change or they'll swap to guaranteed value. I mean, everyone has a certain mechanical level, so all they gotta do is make better decisions or play a better character for the scenario. Maybe they'll be swapping to Mei to help hold space. Or maybe they'll swap to Widow to contest the high ground and get picks and value. Pros will stretch their game sense and apply it over to their hero pool to ensure they get value and ensure they don't get farmed over and over. If you're getting farmed over and over, look at your hero pool, look at what the enemy's doing, try to figure out what axis they're shutting you down on, and how you can adapt. And that's exactly what a lot of pros do, and you can really see it in real time. You watch a pro player, you watch them like, oh, I'm gonna shut down by this. They die to the same thing more than twice, and they're just like, all right, I'm gonna play something that can completely shut that down. I'm not gonna allow that person to get free value off of me anymore. I'm gonna change up my playstyle. And that's something that you could watch and learn from, because that's what makes pro players and streamers so good, the ones that take up all these top 500 spots. They really just ensure that they always get a certain amount of value, because that's how you climb. You can't have these games where you just get farmed. You literally can't. Even someone like Chipsa, who's almost a Doom 1 trick, when he gets shut down on Doomfist, when he gets tunnel vision, when plays don't work out for him, he'll swap to Genji, he'll swap to Mei, he'll swap to Hanzo. He knows that even though he's insanely good at one character, he still understands the win condition. He understands the game and how he can stretch his hero pool to make sure that he's not the one getting farmed. He doesn't want to be the one to throw, and winning at all costs is what all of these streamers and pro players want. Now, moving on to the last thing on the list, and this is the last don't, and this is so important. Do not copy every single streamer identically. Every single player, you, me, DeFran, they all have strengths and weaknesses, and that develops into a playstyle over time when compounded against enemies as you rank up. Not every single style is copyable, and not every style should be copied. For example, Sinatra, not Frank, Overwatch MVP Sinatra. He's insane at hitting pulse bombs. He can stick them constantly and hit crazy sticks. I mean, really, I don't know if you've seen any of his highlights, but he can do these insane long distance sticks, stick them from all over the place. And when he was rising through the pro ranks during his selfless years, he was notoriously known for just hitting every single pulse bomb. Now, often because he's so good at pulse bombs, his whole playstyle will revolve around it. He'll play in a way that builds up pulse bombs, he'll farm tanks, he'll stick consistently, and he'll get all these insanely high impact plays based on his pulse bombs over anything. Now, compare that to someone like DeFran. DeFran has amazing tracking. Everyone knows how good DeFran is, but he almost uses his pulse bombs like a throwaway. Every time he gets it, he just throws it. Sometimes he hits it, sometimes he doesn't. He doesn't guarantee hit it, and he doesn't hit it anywhere near as much as Sinatra does, but he makes up for it with a completely different set of mechanical skills, a completely different playstyle, completely different talents. That is what you need to understand, is you're gonna have different talents too. No matter what you're playing, there isn't always just one perfect playstyle. You really need to base your playstyle off of what you're good at, what you're bad at, how to play around those things to form the best version of you. It's cool to learn from streamers, to watch them, to mimic some of the smart things they do, but if you just try to become a budget version of somebody, eventually you're gonna climb all the way to GM, and you're gonna be playing games against them, and you're just gonna be the worst version, the worst copy, and you're not gonna be able to climb. You need to be able to compete with these players, you need to be able to play against these players. That means taking in all the information that they do right, and becoming a better player with your own unique playstyle. And if you want to learn how to develop your own unique playstyle, but still analyzing all the things that pro players do right and wrong, you definitely need to go check out GameLeap.com. We got multiple in-depth VOD reviews breaking down pro gameplay. So if you want to get the leg up on your competition while learning from the best players in the world, do yourself a favor and go check it out. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. I hope this guide has been extremely helpful for you. Let me know your favorite streamer in the comment down below. Comment your favorite streamer and what character they play so other players know exactly who they should watch. Anyways, that's all we got. I'm Coach Mills, and until next time,